Hi, this is Adam. This is another Eye on North Carolina blog. We're here in Raleigh, North Carolina at the Raleigh-Durham International Airport. We're here at the newly constructed Terminal 1. Really excited to be here. As someone that's been to many different airports around the world, this is a very exciting time. The terminal has been a $68 million modernization project, and we're here with the Director of Communications, Mindy Hamlin, who's going to tell us more about the Terminal 1. Nice to meet you.
Oh, nice to meet you.
Yes. So the first question I have to ask is, there's been some delays due to the weather. Can you explain more of how that's impacted the construction of the terminal?
Well, as you know, we have had unseasonably cold weather this winter. We weren't expecting that. And one of the major pieces of the project here is an airport parking area, which is called the ramp. And we had to pour a lot of asphalt for that. So because of the temperatures and the wet weather, we had to delay the project.
So we're in front of the Southwest Airline ticket counter, and as you can see, it's really modern, it's really nice. What changes did you make compared to the old terminal?
Well, what you're going to see is a little bit different in the modernized Terminal 1 is that it's more open in the ticketing area. We have made the ceilings a little bit taller, we've added natural lighting, and the ticket counters themselves are more open. You can see that instead of having a ticket counter that kind of blocks off the customer,
right,
these are more open.
Right.
And also, it's easier to see where you're going. You walk up to the ticket counter, you can turn to your left and see that you need to go to the security checkpoint and up to your gate. So we've made it more intuitive in how you get from ticketing to the boarding area.
Right, and it seems like the scales are really easy. You can upload your luggage and put it right on. And
yeah, that's right.
Good for kids, good, people that may not be able to lift. And so we're in front of Southwest. I know there's another airline here, AirTran.
That's correct.
And you guys hope to bring in other airlines eventually now that you have a new terminal?
Well, the whole goal with modernizing Terminal 1 and building Terminal 2 is that we have infrastructure in place for future growth. So as our region continues to grow, which it will, we know that's going to happen, then we will be in a position to allow our current airlines to expand their service and to welcome new airlines.
Well, that's really exciting. You're definitely accommodating all the growth that's happening in the region. That's great. I do like the columns and the open air to get the sunlight into the terminal. Kind of describe the inspiration behind that architecture.
Well, the one thing that we wanted to do is we wanted to reflect Terminal 2. We weren't building the terminal from the ground up like we did with Terminal 2, so it's not the same magnitude. But the one thing that we hear a lot about, a lot of compliments that we get for Terminal 2 is all the natural lighting. So what we did is we took this building apart basically and left just the skeleton. And we opened it up, added more natural lighting, so it makes it a more enjoyable experience as you walk through the terminal.
So you weren't really trying to replicate completely, but you did what you could considering the facilities that you already had.
That is correct. We were working within a certain diagram.
Right.
And so we did what we could to bring in certain elements of Terminal 2, and the big one being the natural lighting, and you will see some wood being used throughout the building as well. And one of the big elements that we did is art. We have 3 pieces of art here, and we're carrying on the tradition we started in Terminal 2 with nice, whimsical pieces of art.
That's great. So hopefully we can check out more art and the gates and some of the restaurants that are around the airport. So we're here in front of the underground walkway from the terminal to the parking garage. Kind of describe how you guys gone about to constructing that.
Well, the pedestrian walkway, as we call it, goes from the parking garage into Terminal 1, and that was actually part of the original construction of this building in 1982.
Wow.
So we have refurbished it. There is some art down there that has been with us since the early 2000s, and it will be the way that everyone accesses Terminal 1. And what's so great about that is it allows customers to get to the terminal without having to go out into the weather or cross the street.
Right, and what we noticed when we were on the other side, it spilled right into the garage. There's not some convoluted way to, get to your car, and that's great. It makes it very accessible.
That's one of the big things that we have focused on with both terminals, is making it easy to get into them and out of them.
Right.
And the parking garage is a major part of that. So it's very easy, you can park, and it's very easy to get from the parking garage to either one of the terminals.
Right. And I do like the signs. The signs are easily displayed. There's no confusion.
May I have your attention,
and,
please?
It's really cool.
All
really
travelers,
cool.
You
If
can
any
hear we're
unknown
testing
person
the
attempts to
sound
give you
system
any
in the
item,
terminal as well.
including
So those
luggage,
have been
to
running for
transport
weeks.
on your flight,
Is it
do
getting,
not
is it
accept
getting there in terms
and
of
notify airline
quality
personnel
where you want it to
immediately.
be?
Yes.
Do not
Yeah,
leave
sure
luggage
is.
unattended.
And we're testing
All
all the
carry-on
little
and
bits and
checked
pieces to
luggage
be ready to
is
go
subject
next
to
week.
search.
Exciting,
Yeah.
really exciting. So we're here in front of this beautiful artwork and kind of describe how you guys came about to choosing something like this and who's the artist.
Okay, so what you're looking at, this is High Wire Travelers. It was completed by Gordon Huther. He's a California-based artist, and there were some really strong parameters that were given to him. He couldn't attach anything to the walls, and he couldn't hang anything from the ceilings. So that really put some restrictions on him, and what he ended up doing was choosing 7 figures who are in different phases of travel. So what you see is someone balancing their luggage, and that is actually Gordon Huther.
Oh.
Yeah, that is the artist himself, and he is balancing luggage. His daughter is down on the other high wire, and she's reading a book.
And I see this one, a passenger waiting with his luggage there.
With this waiting, and
Yeah.
and he is actually a drummer that Gordon knows. So every person that is represented here is actually somebody from the artist's life.
That's great. So, he incorporated a lot of people that he really cares about. And how long did this take to construct?
I'm not sure. I know that he was awarded the contract about 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
And the pieces are made out of foam and plaster.
Beautiful.
And it was installed just a couple of weeks ago.
Really, just freshly new.
That's right.
That's
And
great.
what's neat about it is you can see it from 2 different angles, and we may say it again later, but you can see it from the baggage claim area, and you are also greeted by it as you go through security checkpoint.
Awesome. That's really cool. I like it. So we're here in front of the carousels where the luggage comes out, so passengers can pick them up, and kind of describe how you guys designed the carousel and how much luggage can accommodate one carousel.
Well, the carousels were in place. We replaced the carousels, but we kept them in the same positions they were in the older terminal. Each carousel can be in up to 400 bags an hour. So we have plenty of capacity for them as well. And we put a lot of LCD screens throughout this area, so you'll know exactly where your luggage is coming out.
And did the previous terminal have those LCDs, or it did not?
It did not.
Oh, okay.
We did have some screens outside, but not as many. And so this is to guide people and make it a little bit easier for them to find their luggage.
Right, so this is a new technological feature that you guys are really excited about. It's great for the passengers.
Right.
And it's definitely something you really improved on for this terminal.
Yes, we're replicating what we did in Terminal 2. We have hundreds of screens in Terminal 2 that provide information, guide people, tell them where their airline is, where their flight is boarding from, and where it's landing. So we replicated that here in Terminal 1 as well.
This beautiful piece of artwork, kind of describe how you came about to selecting this piece, and it goes right with the terminal, really complements it.
Yes, this piece is called Ripples, and what is interesting about it is as you walk by it, you can actually see water drop onto a pond.
Oh, wow.
And that was the purpose behind the piece, was to give a moving piece, so as people walk by, they experience it, and each time they walk by it, they experience it in a new way.
Wow, and does that kind of reflect North Carolina with the lakes, with the nature?
That was one of the things that the artist did, was she looked at what do we focus on here nature-wise.
Right.
You have the beaches, you have the mountains, you have the lakes, and we also see with the other piece of art that we looked at earlier, we also have a little bit of North Carolina there. We have a road map from about 80 years ago. So we did try to bring some elements of North Carolina in through the art.
And that's great, so you have travelers come in that aren't from here, and they can get a little taste right away. They walk in and like, this is going to be a beautiful place to visit or move
right.
potentially.
There's a lot of natural beauty in North Carolina, and we try to represent that in the art.
That's great. That's great. Let me check this out. This is really cool. So we're here in front of the runway and the jetway here. Are these new to the Terminal 1 construction?
Yes, we have added 9 new jetways for the jet bridges. The terminal is going to have 9 gates. When it opens, Southwest and AirTran will operate 4 of those gates, so we have 5 gates in which to grow into.
Wow, so currently the old terminal, how many gates does Southwest and AirTran have?
They currently have 4 gates over there as well.
So it's just going to transfer over to the same amount.
That's correct. Yes, they're moving from one end of the terminal into the new section.
I know you hope that future airlines will come in, so where are the empty gates that are going to be temporarily vacant? Are they down this way, or?
Yes, they are on the south end of the terminal building, but they are ready to go. So
That's
if we
great.
had airlines expand into those gates, or we had new airlines want to come in, we have plenty of space to accommodate them.
And when do you expect airlines hopefully lining up, oh, we want to go into RDU?
Well, we're always talking to airlines and always letting them know about our region and letting them know where the people in our region are traveling to.
Right.
But the airlines make these decisions slowly. Sometimes
Right.
it can take 3 to 5 years before an airline decides to move into a new airport. But what we're doing is just making sure we have the infrastructure for the next 20, 25 years.
Right.
So as our region continues to grow, we have the infrastructure in place to support the air service that'll come along with that.
So we're here in front of a local establishment, Char Grill. It's a popular restaurant here in Raleigh, and I'm sure the people at the airport and future passengers are going to be happy that one of their favorite burger joints is going to be here in Raleigh, Terminal 1 at RDU. So how did you guys get them as a tenant? And I know the response is going to be great.
Well, one of the requirements that we had with Terminal 1, like we have with Terminal 2, is that we wanted local restaurants here because we want people who are visiting the region to have a little taste of North Carolina and of our region. And also, we know that our customers want to see restaurants that they're used to seeing when they're out in the community. So we did put that in our requirements, and we had a group that operates restaurants in Charlotte actually put together Char Grill and Salsaritas. Salsaritas is a Mexican cafe, and it was actually started in Charlotte. So we have 2 North Carolina-based restaurants that we're featuring here, and we know that people are going to love it. When we announced it, we got a lot of feedback, social media, people very excited about Char Grill being here.
I bet they can really stuff themselves and then get on the plane, and they don't have to eat the plane food.
And they do, they're going to have the cheeseburgers and the milkshakes just like they do in the restaurants in town.
So full menu, just like the menu if you go outside the airport.
That's correct.
That's great.
Salsaritas is a Mexican cafe, and they use as much locally sourced ingredients as they can. So the food is very fresh, and you watch your food being made. So we're very excited about that being added to our list as well.
So fresh kitchen, made to order. That sounds good. And certain airports you don't get that, but it's great in Terminal 1 you are able to get that quality food.
Yep. And this is being run by the same group that's running Marshall Rousseau in Ruby Blue. So this is where you'd walk out, and meters and greeters would be right here, and the Starbucks is right around to your left.
And there's also a Starbucks up top.
Yep.
Great.
Upstairs.
You need your Starbucks.
Yes.
So it's a bit chilly out here, but we're right here at the curbside where people pick up and drop off. And explain more about the process of designing this. And it looks very spacious. You can definitely get in and out pretty easily.
What we did differently with Terminal 1 this time is we made sure that the area was completely covered. So whether someone is dropping you off for your flight or they're picking you up, that area is covered. And if you're walking over to pick up a shuttle to local hotel, that area is covered as well, as is the taxi cab pickup and drop off. So we make sure that you're covered from the elements.
Right. And obviously Terminal 2 has the lower and upper decks, and this just has one. What are some of the challenges that you guys face with traffic? Maybe some issues I don't know.
Well, one thing that we did is we did separate the commercial traffic, meaning the hotel and motel shuttles, from the traffic of me dropping off a friend or family member. Another thing we've done is we've closed it off to where people do not have to walk to and from the parking garage, that they use the pedestrian tunnel, and that's just safer and it keeps congestion out from the roadways.
Well, Mindy, thank you so much for giving us a tour of RDU Terminal 1, and we're very happy to be here.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
This is another Eye on North Carolina blog. We're here in Raleigh, North Carolina at RDU Terminal 1. Hopefully it opens up soon. Really excited to come back here as a traveler, and we hope to see y'all soon.